yourself,
Right.
Mr. Wesley Hargrove.
My name is Wesley Hargrove, formerly with the wonderful, great Hank Ballard as one of his midnighters, tenor singer. Started with him back when I was 18 years old. That puts us at around 1963. And I was with Hank for approximately 10 years. One of my best memories at King, well, we were recording there as a local group called the Persians. And this, of course, paved the way for meeting Hank Ballard. And it was a really great thrill to see Hank Ballard on TV, different musical shows. I even recall a show like To Tell the Truth. And to hear about Hank coming in town, and he was really loved by a lot of us who were young musicians and artists around the Cincinnati area. And see, we were so good as a local group that Hank met us, and we came over to King Records, and we had recorded there, as I said, as a local group. And then to actually meet him, you can imagine the awe and the inspiration of meeting someone of his stature. You know, that type of a role model. It's almost like something surreal to meet someone like that. So I think the greatest thrill was to eventually wind up being with that gentleman.
And how did that happen?
Well, we were traveling as a semi-professional group. Matter of fact, we had taken on such status as a group. We were a lively crew, singers, dancers, and so we built a reputation around the Cincinnati area, and that led us to doing, as they call, gigs out of town. Started with places like Indianapolis and so forth, and once you go through the grapevine, that term for growing, becoming known, and you become known because you're able to attract people to those venues that you're playing. And Hank Ballard heard about us. His group, I guess, you know, the original set of Midnighters, they had become disenchanted for whatever business reasons. And of course, we wound up taking on that title. And might add, fulfilling the role.
And this was you and Norman Thrasher and Frank Stafford, is that correct?
No, even Norman was gone by then. This would have been myself, Frank Thickleg Stafford, who you met just a little bit earlier. I think you know him incidentally anyway. And then there was Walter Baybra Miller, and it was just the three of us at the time. Yeah, we did backup. See, what was one of the, a couple of things that Hank did was how you going to get respect. You haven't cut your process yet. He did that there, and we did some backup things, not only with Hank, but Hank and Jane Brown, they collaborated. And so we just did, you know, the usual backup work, pretty much the long and short of it.
What do you remember about the studio itself, being in the building?
Oh, that was a really great, that's really a great memory for me, you know, to recall looking up in the booth and Jane Redd is sitting up there, and I think his name was Ed Smith. He was one of the technicians, soundboard men. Oh, you know, just to even look in that direction in my mental memoirs, it's really great. You know, all the wires running all over the place, the thick cable type wires, the sound separators, you know, just the testing, and you know, that's when recording was. I admit it might have been sort of dinosaur-like in that sense, but you know, there was a lot of quality stuff being produced then, a lot of quality music. To see the different artists that would come in, people you didn't know, but they were associated with King Records. I even recall, I think some of Bill Doggett's. He was a a King Records artist. Some of his musicians came in to record with Hank, and Lil Willie John. Oh, it was just some awesome times. We sung on our own.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Persians had a label called Hard Time Records, and I was the lead singer on a couple of our records. One was called I Know What You're Thinking, Baby. That was penned by myself. And then there was The Wedding, written by Frank Stanford, and that was recorded at King Records. So, yeah, really great memories, I tell you. You know, you take things for granted if they're right up in your face, you know. But there was still something of a very great quality about knowing that King was here. And you know, you don't know it, but it's traveling through the grapevine, once again, that term, how important this record label is. So it had to be important in this time, even in the midst of ourselves, because everybody was trying to get with it or trying to get with Federal, one of his subsidiary labels. And what was another that I can't think of? I said there was King, there was Federal, and there was several others I can't think of right now. They'll probably drift into my mind in a couple of seconds here. Oh, let's see. There's a thrill up on the hill. Let's go, let's go, let's go. That was one of them. Finger Popping Time was another. Let's see, that was the one that Hank did, the Continental Walk. And what's that ballad that he did? And the Twist. The Twist was a great song. Hank Ballard put that music out there, as you know, and Chubby Checker came back and did it, and Chubby Checker ended up giving us another round of renown. So that worked out just fine. And
yeah, how did you feel?
I wish Hank had gotten the recognition, but from what I understand, Mr. Clark, everybody probably knows who I'm talking about, you know, he was behind that and had some great promotions. Hopefully that's okay to say. And didn't really hurt us a lot because we stayed busy. We were a popular group. We even did better by way of it. And I think one time Chubby Checker got wind of how we were dancing and doing the twist, and he wanted to keep ourselves separated because we had a more wilder but cool version of the twist. Because I'm pretty sure you may recall that the Midnighters were known as not only singers, but they were performers. That's one of the things that we recall as a young singing group, how wonderful the Midnighters were at their choreography and their stage antics. So that inspired our group, the Persians. And of course, when we got to be the Midnighters, you could imagine. Tore the roof off the rafters.
Did you work on routines at King Records? Did you practice your routines while you were in the studio?
Yeah, we were thinking. Yeah, we were always trying to improvise something, and hey, this will go with that. Do this turn right there. Turn this way. Turn that way. Yeah, we were always trying to do something on the spot to get ready for, you know, what we felt would be a hit.
Now, did you stay in touch? How long were you with the Midnighters?
Approximately 10 years. Yeah, sure did. Spoke with Hank even before he began to get sick. Spoke with him when he was out in California, and he told me he was having a few problems with his health. And I remember telling him to take care of himself, and he was happy to hear from me. Told him that I would be getting out that way to see him, and I think it was something in our schedules that didn't permit me to get out and see him. And of course, I was watching Sunday Morning those few years ago and heard about his demise. And that was a sad time. Had a lot of great thoughts to think about Mr. Ballard. You know, he's a brother, a father, a mentor, taught me, I'll say personally, a lot about the business. And one of the things that I really thought about a lot was we were doing a show out in Houston, Texas. And Hank loved the way I had that stick-to-itness, you know, that fortitude. And I'll never forget that he called me up to his room, up to his suite, and he made me the commander-in-chief of the Midnighters because he liked my energy. He liked the way I consistently worked for him on stage, and he upped my money, you know. And you know, that's really a great thing to have that type of achievement with a major star like Hank Ballard was, and to be recognized in terms of the monetary funds. Hank really made me feel like I could do things, and so I have really great memories of him, of his family, of his wife, his children. I tell you, that is wonderful. That's remarkable. Can't think of enough superlatives, adjectives, but I think it's an outstanding effort that's being done by the city in recognition of the wonderful achievements and the wonderful art and music that has come out of this city. And I think by it being one of the major centers of an outsource for music and all, and this city was, incidentally, it was lit up by the artists and what King Records were doing. So sure, that's a phenomenal, you know, I mean, just to know that these artists, Bill Doggett, the country and western artists, some of the jazz, and I think Count Basie may have been in that mix somewhere. Freddie King, rhythm and blues, Little Willie John, and the list goes on. You know, James Brown. I think that is really outstanding to know that we'll be on par with places like Cleveland, where the Music Hall of Fame is, some of the other landmarks around the country, to know that young people will be educated, inspired, and according to the slide that they had going in the reception there, to know that young people will get a real root understanding of what it took in this day and time and how it's led to what they're doing now. But more than anything, I think it'll hone through an educational perspective just what it means to do music and put out quality music. So I think it's outstanding, and I commend the city for what it's doing.
Yes.
Sure. To me, the legacy, personally speaking, it gave me an opportunity to grow, to expand. It gave us as a local group an opportunity. It gave others around us an opportunity. But what makes a legacy? Is it anything like Motown Records? Is it something a little bit deeper that ought to be looked at? And I think in terms of where we were, and you know, we live in a society that has not always been colorblind. And so in terms of the opportunity that Sid Nathan made available to a diverse group of people, that makes it a legacy in itself. This gentleman was way ahead of the curve, so to speak, in doing what he did in order to make that opportunity. You know, we have to consider there were other labels, and I don't want to seem derogatory, but back in the time that Mr. Nathan was doing what he was doing, there were other major labels that I won't mention around out west in New York that could have been doing the same thing, and they were a bit more unforgiving, unrelenting in their attitude or in their biases. So does King Record deserve to be a legacy in that sense? Yes. Does it deserve to be a legacy because it lasted for many, many years and it inspired the different genres of music? Yes. So for all those reasons, and personally speaking, and we know that this music was heard around the world, yes, yes, yes.
Terrific. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
sir.
You're